Welcome back. Now, did the Germans know about what was happening in those concentration camps during World War II with the Jews and the Holocaust? I've seen many different people tell me that no, the Germans tried to portray themselves as innocent civilians. They were brainwashed. They didn't know any better. They were in a vulnerable position. They didn't know any better, and they followed the regime, and they were blind to what was going on in the gas chambers. They didn't know what was going on, and they just believed that the war was something that they were forced into, blah, blah, blah. Propaganda, propaganda, propaganda. So they believed the bullshit. They believed their government. And so, a lot of people tell me that they wouldn't have done anything different, but come on. That's not something that we can agree on, because you do the same thing now. You tell your government every time someone has more than a few people in their house, you tell the government because you are snitching on them. Just like when the Jews were snitched on by the Germans, when other Germans were hiding the Jews in their homes, the other Germans would snitch on them because they wanted to get money and get a payday. Because every Jew that you snitch on would get paid for every Jew that you snitch on. How did they not know? There were laws being passed where Jews were not allowed to own businesses. They were getting shot in the streets in front of the German public. They were being told to scrub the floors and to fucking clear the floors of snow. They were being forced to do all these things. But the Germans didn't know. So you're looking outside your window one day. You're a shop owner, you're a business owner. A Jewish person next door that owned the business with you, and you knew that person, you were friends with him for more than 20 years. He gets kicked out of his business one day. The SS come rolling up to his door and say, "You're a Jew, you can't own a business." They kick him out. And then the Germans, they requisition the building. They take over the building. And you're telling me that you guys didn't know? I don't see how that makes any sense. Any person that has half a brain, well, not even half a brain, Ray Charles could see that the Jews were getting mistreated in Germany. But I don't understand. The thing I like the most about the Americans when they liberated those camps was that they made a lot of the Germans that lived in the vicinity of that camp, they made them bury the bodies, and I love that, because it's a taste of their own medicine. I don't think they should be killed just because they knew about what was going on, because that's barbarism. I don't believe people should be killed wholesale for trying to buck against the system, because they would more likely get killed if they talked too much and were sympathetic to the Jews. They would probably be killed themselves. And people that were against the ethnic cleansing of the undesirables, the Untermenschen, they were a very small minority in Germany. A very small minority. Not a majority. Not even a close majority. Not even a close minority. Like, the vast majority were in cahoots with Hitler and the SS and Himmler and the Einsatzgruppen. The generals, they never voiced any type of displeasure to what they were doing in Eastern Europe. On the Eastern Front, what the Germans were doing on the Eastern Front is something that you don't want to know and don't want to hear about in your worst nightmare. They shot up whole towns and killed entire villages just because one German soldier was killed by a partisan. And then they would destroy and level entire cities. They would kill and destroy and murder and massacre entire cities and populations just for revenge for a partisan attack. And the civilians had nothing to do with the partisans. They didn't know anything about it. They were innocent civilians. And if you watch that movie Come and See, you're gonna see that these people are nothing more than animals, you know? Obviously, the descendants, okay, the descendants, are they animals? Probably not, but you know, there's still lots of neo-Nazis living today that actually would love to see these people come back, but they're a minority, you know, they're not a majority, you know, which is good. But, you know, looking back to what happened in Germany in World War II, you know, most of the perpetrators, they were never caught. And that's something that we gotta really think about and consider. This stuff only happened, well, when was World War II? The start of World War II was 1939. And the final solution was in 1942 because the Germans couldn't find a way to bring the Jews to Madagascar because the British had control of the sea. So the final solution was 1942, and this year right now is 2021. So 21 plus 61. Wait, it's 39, 1, 40, 61, 61 plus 20, 81, 81 plus 2, 83. So 83 years later, that's not that long, you know, that's not even a whole generation, you know, because a person lives for, you know, sometimes they may even live to 100 years. That's obviously not the norm. The majority, the average is probably like 70 years, but it's definitely well within the grasp of one generation. Definitely not outside of the realm of possibility for someone to live 100 years. So, and there's a lot of those Nazi camp commandants and prison guards that were guarding Auschwitz are still alive today. You know, and a lot of them, they actually escaped justice because they say that they were just following orders, but I don't really know how that's really a possibility, and I don't really see how that's a plausible, that's not a way, that's not a really, that's not a good reason, you know, for killing millions of people and killing millions of children that were aged 5 and still their mom's breast in their mouth, you know, getting breastfed. Smashing little kids and holding them by their little feet, smashing them on the pavement head first. I don't think that's something that you can excuse, even if someone tells you to do it. If someone tells you to jump up off a bridge, are you gonna jump off a bridge, dude? Like, you know, you're gonna say, I was just following orders. I jumped off the bridge because they told me to, and now I'm just following orders. Like, what kind of bullshit is that? Like, it doesn't even add up. I mean, they don't even believe that. If you ask, well, the Germans, they're gonna deny it, but they don't even believe what they say. Like, they don't even believe that. You know, when someone doesn't even believe what they say, kind of easy to see whether or not they're telling the truth or not, you know? Lying motherfucker. Lying bitch. Onions are almost cut up now. My eyes are kind of watery. You guys want to see me cut these onions, man? I already cut them, so I don't really see the point of showing you guys again. I really need to clean my room up, though. It's very cluttered all over the place, for sure. I gotta, like, find a way to, like, make this shit look a little bit better. But yeah, these Germans, man, they knew everything what was going on in those camps. I just don't believe them. I don't believe anything they say. I believe, well, yeah, I believe some of it. But the thing is, I just don't believe them, man. Like, they lie so much, dude. I mean, I think the Soviets were actually a lot easier on them than they deserved. They didn't deserve all that leniency when the Germans were destroyed and the Soviets were coming to attack them. Operation Bagration and all those other attacks that happened towards the end of 1945 when it began. It was a really, really bad place for the Germans. But